Hey guys, I got a special package recently, so I'm going to do a video of the 4 cars I ordered. I got these off eBay from a seller, RX7 FD3S. And you want to check this guy out because he's got tons of Kyosho models and some CMs, rally cars, and I believe some other ones as well. But I've already placed a few more orders with him, but these are the ones I just got recently, so I thought I'd talk about them a little bit here, learn a little bit. So, the first one I'm going to start with is the Lamborghini Bravo. This is a concept car. It was designed by styling house Bertone, or Bertone, depends what part of the world you're coming from, but I believe it's from 1974. Yeah, it debuted in 1974 at the Turin Auto Show, and they actually drove it around. It's a functioning vehicle. They drove it around like 160,000 miles or something like that before they put it into the museum of Bertone. I wish they put it into production. You know, if you look at it, even by today's standards, it's such a clean and elegant design. It's smooth. It's very wide, though. Not very practical, I'm guessing, though, because I'm guessing the rear windows vertical, and you have to see through all these tiny slats. It'd be like looking through a grill. But anyways, looks cool. It took styling design elements from the Countach, I guess. But anyways, I had to get it because it's such a cool looking car. I remember seeing this in magazines growing up as a kid. And now I have a three-dimensional object of it. Alright, the next one is a competition car from Maserati. This is from 1959 to 1961. These were produced. And it's called the Tipo 61. But a lot of people just called it the Maserati Birdcage because the frame was made up of 200 odd pieces of chromoly steel. And so by taking a bunch of thin steel tubes and triangulating them, you can still make a strong structure. So I guess the structure mimics something like a bird cage, and that's why people call it that. Another interesting thing I learned about this car is the windshield. There was a new rule at the time by the FIA where they had to have a somewhat tall windshield. I don't know really what they meant by tall, but in relation to the body, you can see it looks like a normal height body. You know, the steering wheel there, it's hard to tell at an angle, of course, but it's pretty low compared to the top edge of the windshield. So this is why the fenders are so tall, because they sunk that tall windshield low down into their bodywork here. So it's still, you know, they're trying to be aerodynamic, but meet the rules of having a tall windshield. The reason why I bought this particular Kyosho model is on the rear fender it says driver Carroll Shelby. This is the gentleman that took a V8 engine and jammed it into a small British AC vehicle and created the AC Cobra, or most people just call it the Shelby Cobra. But that's a different video for whenever I get one of those cars into my collection. But anyways, a very cool design. Late 50s, early 60s. Alright, the next car is by a company called CM's, and they make a lot of rally cars. This is the Lancia 037. And I'm pretty sure, if I recall, I built a Tamiya model kit of this as a kid just because it looked like a really mean car. But I didn't really pay much attention to anything other than the fact that it looked really mean with its wide body and stuff. But doing some research recently, I learned that this is a silhouette racer, meaning that it has to match the greenhouse shape of a production vehicle. And so Lancia at the time had a production car called the Monte Carlo. And if you look up images of that, you'll see the whole top half of it is identical. But then this is the 037 because everything else is totally wide-bodied out and different. The Monte Carlo has a steel body, but this 037 has a Kevlar and fiberglass body for, you know, lightweight, you know, for racing. And also I didn't realize as a kid, this has a mid-engine because it looks like a front-engine car because I'm guessing the Lancia Monte Carlo is a front-engine car. But this being a race car is now a mid-engine car. So it is a mean-looking rally car. And this thing won the Monte Carlo Rally. That's why you see the Monte Carlo Rally badge there on the back glass and the front hood here. And also as a constructor, the manufacturer's title went to Lancia this year. And these guys were competing against the Audi Quattros at the time, so that's some serious competition. You know, the Audi Quattro pretty much popularized all-wheel drive for regular passenger vehicles. Alright, so let's move on. Now my favorite car in my collecting so far is this. It's the Tyrell P34 from Kyosho. And the reason why is because of this. When I was a kid, I used to play with this car, this exact car. I kept this. And now let's take a look here. On the bottom it says 1977, made in Japan, Tomica, Tyrell P34, Ford, number F32, scale 152. So it's actually not the same scale, but you know, if this was made in 1977, it should give you an idea of that I'm an old dude. So I have kept this for, I don't know, over four decades, I guess, over 3 decades. So I remember as a kid, you know, just seeing this, I'm like, what? This thing's got 4 wheels in the front and 2 in the back. It was so cool. So I kept it. So I'll explain why it is shaped that way. You know, in 1975, the FIA dictated that F1 cars have a 1.5 meter wide front wing. And if you look up images of F1 cars of the time, you'll notice that their front tires are tall. You know, they're not as tall as the rears, but they're sticking up well above their front wings. But also they're sticking up to the side of the wings. So Tyrell thought they would cheat that by, instead of having one big tire in the front, they'll have 2 smaller ones instead. You know, you can't have one small tire because there's not enough rubber, you know, for traction during turning, but most importantly, braking. Any vehicle does most of its braking with the front tires because all the weight shifts forward. So anyways, if you look at this, you can see there's not much of the front tire sticking up above that wing, and they're not sticking out. You know, sadly I don't have a 1/64 scale F1 car of normal proportions. But anyways, that's the story behind why this car has 4 small tires in the front. These are actually 10-inch wheels. So unfortunately, you know, looking at the physical diecast, this thing has the steel axle showing. Not particularly pleasant to look at compared to later on, or other Kyoshos where it's, you know, just full plastic. You know, full plastic. This reminds me of Hot Wheels and stuff like that. But I guess they didn't have an option with maybe such small wheels, or maybe they just learned to make all their future diecasts have solid plastic wheels. But anyways, it's still the nicest 1/64 scale Tyrell P34 I've ever seen. This one, I don't know what happened there, but yeah, so I guess that's it for today, guys. I guess, and we'll catch you the next time. Take care.